The 2025 NBA draft is officially in the books, but teams did not stop adding talent to their rosters. A lot of good players went undrafted and then signed two-way deals, Exhibit 10 contracts with NBA teams. And on today's show, we're going to look at some of the top UDFAs and where they ultimately landed and who could still be out there as of filming. I am Nic Rohloff, but make sure you do subscribe to the channel because we will be live for NBA free agency this upcoming week. We have a lot of different hosts that will go live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday as we kick off free agency on June 30th. So hit that sub button and don't miss our coverage. All right, we're going to go in blocks of 4 here of my top UDFAs. And we are going in order, by the way, of my big board. And the top player that did not get drafted was R.J. Lewis, the wing from St. John's. He lands with the Utah Jazz. Vlad Goldin, the 7-footer from Michigan, heads to Miami. All 4 of these are two-way deals. Eric Dixon, the talented scorer from Nova, went to the Lakers. And then Hunter Sallis went to the Sixers. He got a two-way deal. But I'm fascinated by R.J. Lewis here because he was my top overall player that did not get drafted. A lot of people were like, why didn't he get drafted? A lot of people were like, why did this guy even go to the draft? He could have made $1 million+ being a top NIL recruit in the transfer portal. You know, I got to be honest with you. I don't really have a good answer for you. But it's a player that can be a really good wing complementary guy. He's got a great wingspan, 6'10 3/4, 6'5 height, average 18 points a game, Big East Player of the Year. He's really aggressive defensively, needs some refinement in terms of his ability to score the ball and shoot the ball. But this is a player that I think Utah Jazz fans will fall in love with when he goes to Summer League. Who knows what's going to happen with Ace Bailey, but you get R.J. Lewis Jr. and Walter Clayton Jr. on the same Summer League squad, and you might see some fireworks. Might even see Isaiah Collier, a Cody Williams play on that Jazz Summer League team. So I'll tell you what, if there's a Summer League team I got my eye on, it's certainly going to be the Utah Jazz. Quickly, I'll mention Eric Dixon. I know Lakers fans probably going to want to hear more about him. I called him the Walmart Julius Randle. I really like Dixon. He was the leading scorer in the country last season, averaging 23 points per game, 3-time All-Big East. All 5 years in college was at Villanova, shot 40% from beyond the arc, 81% from the line. He is an elite shooter, an elite scorer. I think Lakers fans are going to like to see him in a Summer League uniform as well. All right, next grouping of 4 here. A couple interesting players. Izan Almansa, the Spaniard, he went to the 76ers, so that's now 2 76ers UDFAs that land in my top 5. Dink Pate has yet to sign as a filming, former 5-star recruit who played in the G League Ignite program before that disbanded, and that kind of ruined his career. Ryan Nembhard, the Gonzaga guard, heads to the Mavericks, and Mark Sears, the undersized Alabama guard who just can fill up the stat sheet on the score card, goes to the Milwaukee Bucks. But producer Coop, the Mavericks fan that he is, wants me to talk about Ryan Nembhard more. So, hey, we can do that. Nembhard had a fascinating pre-draft process. He originally went to the G League showcase where that happened a week before the NBA draft. And then 5 players from the G League program got called up to the NBA draft combine. One of those players was Ryan Nembhard, who is the younger brother of Andrew Nembhard. And he spent 2 years at Creighton before transferring to Gonzaga for 2 years. He is arguably the best pure point guard in this draft, averaged 9.8 assists per game. Just an absolute ridiculous 41% assist rate with a 4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. But he can also knock down some threes. He's super short, 5'11 without shoes, 6'2 1/4 wingspan. So it's hard for him to get off shots. But when he is open and has the space to not be contested by lengthier defenders, he will knock them down at a pretty good rate. Weird kind of number here. He shot 10 of 19 from the right side of the floor from beyond the arc. So he has a better look to him when he's shooting from the right side, which is a little bit of an oddity because usually right-handed shooters shoot better from the left side. It looks to the eye better, but he shot well from that right side. I compared him to a little bit of a Trey Jones type of player. Who is the best UDFA signing? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. I would go with R.J. Lewis. I would put Hunter Sallis in there as well. Eric Dixon certainly in consideration too, but let me know who you think the best one is. Next grouping of 4 here. Brice Williams is still unsigned, the scoring guard from Nebraska. Viktor Lakhin, the big man from Clemson, is still inside. But then Tamar Bates, the wing from Missouri, heads to the Denver Nuggets. And Grant Nelson, the big from Alabama, heads to the Brooklyn Nets. And I want to focus on Grant Nelson here, Coop, because he is an interesting player. He spent 3 years at North Dakota State before transferring to Alabama for 2 years, so a 5-year collegiate guy. If you remember 3 years ago, he was that white dude that went viral on Twitter for putting on some crazy moves for the North Dakota State Bison. He was just outside my top 60. He is a pretty effective rim protector. 6'10", height, 7-foot wingspan. Certainly will need to add weight to his frame so he doesn't get bullied. But he has floor spacing upside, in my opinion. Didn't shoot it that well at Alabama from beyond the arc, only 25.8%. But I do think he can play that way. Will excel in an up-tempo scheme, just like Alabama. I compare him to like Zeke Naji a little bit there, the player that has just not worked out in Denver over the past couple of years after getting his extension. Either way, I do like the flyer for the Brooklyn Nets in undrafted free agency. We'll see how it works for him amongst all of their point guards they drafted during the Nets Summer League squad. All right, the draft is concluded, but you can still get your draft hats on sale. Chatsports.com/2025 draft hats, whether it's the Mavericks, the Hornets, the Heat, the Lakers. When these players walk the stage, they were wearing these hats. So get yours today. Chatsports.com/2025 draft hats. That link is in the description and comments of today's video. Interesting grouping here. Kadary Richmond, the guard from St. John's, heads to the Washington Wizards. Caleb Love, a big-time player from Arizona, goes to the Portland Trail Blazers. Igor Milicic Jr. heads to the Sixers. So if you're keeping track at home, that's 3 Sixers in my top 15 UDFAs. And then Payton Sandfort, the wing guard hybrid from the Iowa Hawkeyes, heads to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's talk about Kadary Richmond and Caleb Love here. Former St. John's player, played at Seton Hall as well. He cannot shoot the rock whatsoever, but boy, is he disruptive on the defensive end. That is his calling card. He can also play make, hit a little bit of a midi, finishes around the rim, but boy, he shot like 20% from 3. I'll say this right now when it comes to Kadary Richmond. With his athleticism, with his ability to be a defender and a facilitator, if he shot 35% from 3, he would have been an early second-round pick. I stand by that. He is so good defensively. He is going to be a fun player to watch in Summer League. Caleb Love heads to the Portland Trail Blazers. I got to be honest. This is like as Damian Lillard as you can get. Makes sense in Portland, right? Former massive recruit at North Carolina, obviously helped the Tar Heels get to the Final Four, the national championship game, went famous, a 5-star recruit, then goes to Arizona where he wins Pac-12 Player of the Year, and then doesn't win Big 12 Player of the Year. God, I hate conference realignment. He won Player of the Year at Arizona at one point. That's all I know. But this guy can get hot in an instant. Inconsistent decision maker for sure, turns the ball over and will just go ice cold. But when he gets hot from beyond the arc, my goodness, can he light up the stat sheet. Caleb Love, I know a lot of people like him in college circles. We'll see if he can make the team. Got a 2-way contract from the Portland Trail Blazers. All right, final 4 that we'll break down here on today's show. Miles Kelly heads to the Mavericks. That's their second player to show up on this UDFA list. John Poulikides, the wing from Yale, who went famous for knocking off the Auburn Tigers in the 2024 March Madness tournament, not this year, the year prior. Kobe Johnson, the UCLA guard, heads to the Atlanta Hawks. And the Toronto Raptors grab a big from Alabama, second Alabama big to make my list. Clifford Amore! It's Amore! Shout out Dick Vitale. But the player I'll highlight here real quick is Miles Kelly from the Mavs kind of side of things. He was really, really good for the Auburn Tigers this past season. Spent some time at Georgia Tech, transfers to Auburn, ends up being their lead 3-point shooter. And in that scheme with Bruce Pearl, he had a really good time, man. Averaged 6 3-pointers attempts a night, shot 38%. And what they did there at Auburn is they just had Janai Broome have the ball at the top of the key and then have Tahad Pettiford, had Miles Kelly, had Denver Jones, just consistently run around, get the ball off screens. Broom would facilitate, do handoffs. Kelly could shoot the rock, man. And I think he could hold up defensively at the next level as well with some defensive prowess. When you combine his ability to shoot, I think he's the player on a two-way contract that can make some noise on that Mavs roster potentially. I actually think there's a world where Kelly has a better chance to make the final roster in October for Dallas than Ryan Nembhard, who is on my list earlier, just because of Kelly's ability to shoot the rock. We know that shooting always plays in the NBA. So let me know who won the NBA draft. There are 3 teams I would put up for consideration. I won't say Dallas because they got Cooper Flag, blah, blah, blah. I'll go San Antonio Spurs. I'll go Miami Heat. And I think the Phoenix Suns would be another one. Those are the 3 teams that I would put in consideration. The Suns getting Rasheer Fleming, Malawach, Kobe Brea, and trading for Mark Williams. That's one hell of a past couple of days. The Heat getting Kasparas Yakachonis falling into their laps at 20, my 6th overall player on the board. And then the Spurs getting Carter Bryant and Dylan Harper in the lottery. I mean, are you serious? That's a cheat code. But as I mentioned off the top, we'll be live for NBA Free Agency Week. So hit that sub button. Join the channel today because we're going to have some top coverage here on YouTube. So make sure you join us for this upcoming busy week.